All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to some of you. Chris Colt here, the challenge champion with my good friend Krista Malone. And we're going to have some fun. Most of you know we've done a few LinkedIn Lives together. We've done some workshops, some challenges. We've had a blast today doing this. But today, we want to talk about business growth for good. We're going to talk about people, some of the things you really need to know to grow a business authentically and organically. So I see a bunch of you. If you see my eyes move occasionally, I'm just making sure we keep a live connection over here. Let us know where you're coming in from. And of course, if you're catching this on replay, let us know, hey, on team replay. But let us know who's on here. We'll bring up, as you guys show where you're coming in from, we'll bring this up on the screen. I see a couple commenting already. So let's see who we got out there. All right. We'll bring these up as I get going. All right. So let's do this, Krista. You already know I always ask, oh, look who it is. Hold on, I want to say hello to one person I see commenting here. Glenn, good morning, Glenn. Hope things are good in New Jersey, unless you're in the city today. But good to see you, buddy. All right. Oh, I see your daughter back there. Hi, Ivy. How are you?
Wait.
Oh.
Ivy, so let me reduce my table because this is my real life. So Miss Ivy here was watching a movie on my phone when suddenly I popped up that I've gone live. And I'm like famous, right?
There you go. So mom's interrupting
Ivy,
your show.
You know Chris? That's Chris. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, you're on TV
Ivy.
now too. Okay, honey. You go and I'll finish up the meeting, okay? Thank you. She's gonna watch us on the phone.
Awesome. Let's see what kind of comments she puts up on that.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's all about, Krista, right there. I mean, this is what we are, the world we live in. If that doesn't happen when I work with the client, I always ask myself, am I working with the client? And with that said, some of my clients are past the kids' age, but that's how we got there. So, hey, let's see what's out here. Michael, Sydney. All right, Michael, what time is it?
Michael does not sleep. Michael does not ever sleep.
No, but it's good to see you, Michael. We got Justin out here. All right. And I know you know who Ivy is. So there you go. Yes, Ivy. All right. Yay. All right, let's get this going. So, Krista, I always ask this question, and we'll get into this conversation. Who are you fighting for and why are you fighting for them?
So I'm fighting for the small business owner, and essentially take it one step back. I'm fighting for the person who wants to take control over their life again, that doesn't want to sit behind a cubicle and have their dreams wither away. I want to fight for people who have a passion and want to do good in this world and help them bring that dream into reality via entrepreneurship.
Yes, and you fight well for those people. But why are you fighting them for them? Because you have a little bit of a story here from your background, and people need to understand that because we always have a reason when I ask that question. Why are you fighting for this, right? And what is that reason?
Yeah, for me, it goes back to my family history that when I was born, my mom gave up her career dream to have me and to raise me. And she didn't have the possibilities that we have today to pursue the type of online entrepreneurship. And so I definitely feel like I'm particularly fighting for women like my mom and women in general, because I think women specifically need more autonomy and flexibility because they want to have a family. And society isn't very forgiving about that. And the traditional job structure doesn't really help women in that way. So this is deeply personal to me. I want women like my mom not to have to give up their dream and have more options about what they can do with their career.
I love that. In my career, in my sales background, some of the most impactful leaders I ever had were women. Right? If I really look back on my career, they were women. They were the ones that, they kicked you in the rear when you needed it, but with love, right? Hey, you got to go out and do this, go do it, right? And it's kind of funny now because it's almost the direct opposite clients I serve. I mean, I have a good mix, but I have more women clients than I do men. So it's kind of opposite. I was like, wait a minute, I was always getting nicely kicked forward by women. And now here I am doing the direct opposite sort of. So it's really funny how that works out, but like such a noble cause because I see so many women who they have a baby and then it's like, oh, I'm done. Life is over. And it's like, no. This world is friendly for you if you really know how to do it. So like, where are you now? You're up in the mountains of where? Let's talk about this, right?
Yeah.
About the skiing or the fly fishing or the biking in this conversation.
Yeah. So I am in the French Alps right outside of Switzerland. And this is actually my home away from home. My family has property up here. And I used to come here when I was a kid for vacations, like summer breaks and stuff. And so definitely now I am up here far away from San Francisco. But I would never be able to do this if it weren't for the online business model. Right now, I'm able to essentially narrow down my time to working 3 days a week. So I try to keep everything into Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And then I let Mondays and Fridays be like the overflow days. So exceptionally, if we, like for example, I have this challenge with you next Tuesday. I reached out to my client's VA and I said, can we move this to Monday? So
Yeah.
I left, Monday is blocked. It's my time.
Yep.
But if there's something going on, I can always use Mondays and Fridays as backup. So, it's a very freedom driven lifestyle. And I don't want to impose my way of working on anyone because I do think there is a place for the 40-hour corporate job. I definitely think that what I want is that people feel they have the choice to make. My mom didn't feel like she had that choice to make. Women, even today in 2024, don't even consider entrepreneurship an option. They're like, what do you mean? I have a kid. How can I run a business? And what you and I think, are very aligned on is that there's misconceptions about how to set up a business and how many hours you're going to have to work. And the truth is, it's all flexible because you're the one in charge designing your business. You decide how many clients you need to take on. You decide what your work hours are going to be and also what your boundaries should be. So, are you open to working on weekends or letting people message you on weekends?
Yeah.
When can they book your time? Um, all kinds of different setting, and that's what I love. I love being really in charge of designing the work the way I want it to be and also working with people. So today we're talking about business growth for good. And I think the heart of everything is working with people. So making sure we're working with people whose values align with ours. That's very important to me.
Yeah, no, that is completely important. I love how you talk about the structure, right? That's one of the things any business should offer that. That ability, especially like we were talking when you started women who have babies, like why not give as much flexibility in that scenario as possible? We have the technology to work from home that was proven multiple times, right? And it seems like every time it's proven, companies are like, nope, everybody's got to come back into the office. But what I see right now, more and more than ever, especially after that thing that happened back in 2020. We'll be careful what words come on this live so we don't get kicked off here. I saw so many friends because I live an hour and a half north of the city, and my friends were like on a train 5:30 in the morning, home at 8:30 at night, and I'd be like,
Yep.
man, that's not a lifestyle I ever want to go with. And when they were able to work from home, all of a sudden they're like, when the company said, hey, you got to come back. No, I'll go find a company that'll let me stay here because I have my life back. I'm free again. I'm actually fit again. I got my fitness back. I know my kids again, right? And that's really what it's about. How can a business really drive that forward for the people that bring them the profits, right? So these people have to be taken care of first if they want the profits. If you don't have a culture like that, it's game over.
Let me tell you, Chris, how I have an unconventional approach to managing people. I don't like timesheets. And so in this day and age where we have remote workers, the first question most CEOs ask is, okay, they have to track their time because they're remote.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, no, that is the biggest time waste I've ever thought of. And then they're just basically thinking up things to put in the timesheet. They're like, oh, let me write down that I did this and that. I would rather they're focused on their KPIs. So for me, it's all about here's your objectives. We need to meet like maybe once a week to check your progress. It depends on what. Like today I told a guy, we don't need to meet weekly, we can meet monthly.
Yeah.
You have the whole month to deliver and you prepare your report and I'm trusting you. If you have questions, you can always message me. We can hop on a quick improvised call. But you can chat with me all the time on Slack. So that's how I run the people is I give them a lot of trust and then I make it really clear what the objectives are.
Yep.
And then you have to check in with people. How are they doing? Do they feel so? Is it overwhelming? Do they feel a little bit confused about what they're supposed to be doing? It's hard to manage people, but if you want to grow a business, that's what you have to learn how to do no matter what. Even a solopreneur, Tim Ferriss famously wrote this book, The 4-Hour Work Week, way back when. It feels like it's still happening, even
Yeah.
many years later.
Yep.
I just read this really cool book by Noah Kagan called The $1 Million Weekend, I think it's called. I have to pull it out somewhere. And to be honest, I think we have to think about those kind of things, like how do we delegate tasks? How do we outsource tasks? Oh no, Justin's given away all my secrets.
I know, I'm putting it up there.
Actually, the three things that I look for in people are the same that I try to convey, walk
Yep.
the talk. The first thing I look for is communication. So if you don't get back to me, I have to chase you down, you don't follow up, it means you're not really interested. You're
Yep.
not interested. You're not showing me interest.
Oh, that's
Number
big.
two is really your talent. So I want people to take pride in their work. So sometimes I'll call it creativity, not talent, but creativity. Like I want you to take really good pride in your work and be proud of what you deliver. So I always ask people if they did a mediocre job, I said, "Is this your best work?" And there's a pause and it's like, uh-oh. And I'm like, "Get out of here. Go do it
Yeah.
again." And the third thing is passion. And I think what Justin was talking about is my passion. So for me, I'm not going to just do my job. I'm going to try to go above and beyond, and really no stone is overlooked, So I'm
Yeah.
thinking of everything. And if I see something that's not in my lane that's wrong, I'm going to make a point of pointing it out and seeing, okay, I want you to be aware of this. And most of the time that's been met with extreme gratitude, that people love that. But there are some people who have ego problems.
Yeah.
So, and if I point something out, they're like right away very defensive, like, oh, I'm not one time I coached a guy and he's like, I'm not looking for feedback on my personality.
Wow.
And I was like, and that's why you don't have any clients.
Yeah.
And I can't hold it back. I have to tell them the truth. So I think everything today we're talking about goes back to people,
You said a couple things I want to recap about. The one about the feedback for people, that is so critical. Any mentor, leader, coach that I've hired or worked with, I took their feedback. I mean, yeah, there was times I wanted to maybe, hit them. Like it happens, right? I never did. But, you get that, oh my gosh, especially when I was younger in my sales career. No, you're wrong. But like I learned quickly, maybe it's because I had so many good cycling coaches and I knew their feedback was for love, to get me forward, even though it hurt to hear. So I started just listening to what was said. Now, there was a couple times as time went on, like some things that were said, I was like, that dude's totally wrong, that it played out. But 95% of the time, I needed to hear it. And it got me 20 steps further faster than others because I took the feedback. And I remember going back to so many mentors and just like, I never liked what you said about me or how you said I was approaching things. But I want to say I'm so grateful because it had me work on that. And now it got me here. Right. So even now when somebody, I've had so many mentors I still work with and they give me feedback. I don't take it as a sting. I'm like, well, I worked with you many years, right? It's a shot of tequila. Like, okay, I need to change this right now. But that's what happened. But I want to tell you a story that you said about early on, where timesheets, and I'm going to give everybody a funny story here. So I come from a sales background and I worked in what we call the pit very early in my career. And this is how they gauged us. And let me just say they had very high turnover. We had to, and I was really good at figuring out how to build a relationship. And I was doing cold calling, straight up cold calling, build a relationship fast and get them talking, right? So for me, I could get a lot of good quality calls in with an hour burst of cold calling. I knew when my zone was hot and I went for it. But we had leaders, bosses, let's call them bosses. These were bosses who said they had the phone tracker and we had to make 150 dials a day. And it had a time out to, I think it was almost 3 hours of time on the phone. So you want to know what any good salesperson that knew what they were doing did? Like, this is the only time I quote unquote cheated a system. I ensured that I knew my zone that was good. I knew when I was on my calls. I knew that hour, and I got all my quality calls in there that were going to lead to something else. And then we had a list of 1,000 phone numbers that we could call to make up those numbers. 22 sales reps had the whole thing. But that to me was not treating the people who, especially sales, who deliver the profits to us. I was out of that company in 8 months. Like, I crushed it for them. But I was like, I cannot be managed this way. Went on to another company and we told where I was going. I said, the reason I'm leaving is because of this. And the guy's like, you're going to work from home. I look at results and I make sure what you're doing leads to results. I don't care if you're out riding your bike for 2 hours a day, Chris. You're delivering what we ask. Go do it. It's different mindset how that happens.
No, but Chris, think about this. In school, we accept that children learn at different rates and with different means. So in school, we have reading levels. You're in level 1, level 2, level 3. Maybe there's an advanced class set in high school. So in school, it seems completely acceptable that people excel at different subjects at different paces. Then you grow up, quote unquote, go to your first job, and they're like, all of you need to sit here for 40 hours. And I'm just like, well, wait a minute, but I can complete this task in 2 hours. I'll be in and out. I promise you I can get this all done.
Yep.
And they're like, oh crap, we're going to find more work for you to do. So they basically demotivate my incentive to give it my best, because I'm like, well, if they're going to just keep piling more work on me, I better work slow. So the whole system is messed up. We have to get away from time-based management, and we have to switch to value-based output. And there's another thing you hit on that's super important that I think everyone on the call, business owner or employee, I don't care, is we have to train people. We have to give them more training. Yesterday, one of my clients asked me, in all honesty, he said, why do we even bother hiring these people if we just have to train them? Oof. That was his exact thing he said.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you can't. It's like saying, why do we bother to have children if we have to teach them to walk and ride a bike and eat? And, it's because anyone who's put into a new position needs to have proper onboarding, proper training. And more importantly, I would add on the third component for success is a mentor. The mentor could be your boss, but I actually think I like the companies that assign a separate person who's a higher up to mentor you. And their role is not to tear you down, look for mistakes, on the contrary, their role is to really help you grow in maybe your soft skills, or try to help you with the things. You can go to them if you're struggling with your boss or with other people, and you can ask for advice. And I don't understand why companies, aren't doing that. I think that what you said about the quantity of making phone calls, when I come into companies as a CMO, the thing that I've seen a lot is that the sales team stuffs the email list, and there's all these like they're like, oh, I got 30,000 leads in my, under my name. And I'm like, who are these people and how did they get on the list? And then there's dead silence because they were all imported. And I'm like, the only people who should be on this list are the people who opted in. So they had to go through, they had to check the box saying, I want to receive email from X company. And I think that we just have to, it's a win-win. Like, why do you want to be spammed, or why do you want to spam people? It's like, so I think some of the rules in companies need to shift to put more emphasis on the quality of things, not the quantity as well.
Well, and I think, this is a good segue to what, we kind of came here to talk about, something that we're going to do next week, and we'll continue this conversation, right? But I mean, next week, I'm going to pop this up on the screen for you real quick, Krista. You can talk about it. And I think I know a guy that's going to show up on this photo too with you. Let me just get this over here. But next week, we put together this challenge, a 3x3 business challenge. And, anything with Krista always has threes in it. You said that very early on. But let's talk about this a little bit. I'm going to show it on the screen. There's a QR code. But what I also like that you're doing about this has a benefit for something. Oh, you know what? Oh, there we go. All right. So why don't you talk about this for a little bit in a second here?
Yes. So this is going to be an amazing event happening next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we're going to have 3 days of incredible trainings by 3 different speakers who know 3 different strategies to grow your business. So the first speaker on day 1 is John Asperian, who is he's an OG. Everyone knows him for being a legit vetted LinkedIn trainer. He has put in his time. I mean, this man knows everything about LinkedIn. I'm hyping it up, but it's true. I mean, there's a lot of people calling themselves LinkedIn coaches, but I always go back to the tried and true people. And why I picked John to, luckily he accepted, is because um, John also really works a lot with small business owners. So there's a lot of LinkedIn trainers out there that specialize in more higher ups,
Yep.
like corporate stuff training. There's excellent ones, but I wanted specifically someone who understands the needs of small business owners. And when we say small business owners, this 3-day challenge, um, all the speakers are really designed to help you. But even though we call it small business, I personally think that employees could come too, because it's all about building your personal brand. So day one is LinkedIn, but it's really for individuals building
Yep.
their brand. Day two is look in the mirror, Mr.
I know
Chris Colt,
that.
the challenge champion. Very excited to have you, Chris. Thank you for coming, for saying yes. And Chris, I've known you for 3+ years now, and you do something that I've never seen anyone else do with virtual events. And I say that as somebody who knows.
Mhm.
Every single day I'm exposed to coaches and programs, and I really love the way you do it. So virtual events is our second strategy to really build your business, and people don't know how to do them right. The webinar is
Oh, yeah.
dead.
Yep.
The old days, it was just, oh, put up a recorded webinar. And I can promise you that these webinars are not getting you clients.
It's all about
Uh,
this,
the
creating an
experience
experience.
economy. Yay.
This is what I
So
teach people essentially with virtual events.
yeah, and so I really love, I've participated in your events. I really love how you do it. So I'm super excited to have you speak with people next week and teach them a few tricks about why they should be using virtual events to grow their brand, grow their business. And then on day 3, we have Nausheen Chen, who is from all three the person I don't know very well yet, but who I've been lurking on for quite a while. Her
Yep.
name keeps popping up. I mean, her brand is very impressive.
Yep.
And she's going to be teaching us about public speaking confidence.
Love
That's
that.
her topic. And as we're on a live stream right now, everyone should know that you do need a little bit of coaching.
Yeah.
I was terrible when I first started doing live streaming. I would be there were so many things I fidgeted around. You're not even conscious of these things. The way you speak is everything. It's your
Yep.
communication is going to either attract your customer or it's going to keep them scrolling and say, this isn't interesting, I'm going to keep going. So
Yep.
she's got value to drop. And then I'm also excited to have a really cool producer, Rich Bontrager, who, if anyone has seen his live streams, you won't forget them.
Yeah.
Because he knows how to entertain the crowd. So he's going to be our MC for the evening. So, and here's the best
Great
part
guy.
about
I know Rich. I know him well. So
yeah, it's a small world in the end. We all kind of find each other. The
Yep.
last thing I want to say about this challenge, Chris, is that not only do we have such an incredible lineup, but here's the best part. The best part is that we're doing this for only $33. So
Yep.
think about what can you get? How can you get 3 master classes from top OGs for $33? Just tell me where is that even possible, right?
Yep.
So definitely this is a big deal. And we're not going to keep the money. Everyone who has agreed to speak is amazing and has agreed to do this pro bono, and all the money, all the proceeds that we receive for this event are going to be donated to the MS Society.
Love that. I love
So,
that.
and that brings us back into doing business for good. So
Yeah.
it's not always about profits. It's a win-win because we're going to be providing value for people that they can use to make money,
Yep.
but all their money is going to be donated to a good cause. So it's a win-win, I think.
Well, and it's actually win-win-win-win, because if you really go call any one of those individuals that are speaking, besides yourself, the value you bring, right, and the people you brought together, go ask them if first you can buy an hour of their time, because most of them, I know you can't do it. I know for me, if somebody asks me that, nope, you have to be doing it this way, because an hour of my time is great, but you're never going to get what's up here and get what you need to really get an impact, right? So if you really go look at that and you see what $33 is going to deliver, and not only the value it's going to do, what it's doing for others out there, right? We want to get as many as we can in this just because of where the money's going. That's one of the beautiful things. But if you really look at what you're getting for $33, one of my clients charges $1,500 an hour if you can get on their calendar for an hour. He does a virtual event. He does a challenge. He charges $150 to get in there. And he's like, you want my time that way? That's how you're going to get it. But other than that, it's this much. And people are like, when they go through his challenge, they're like, you only charge $1,500 an hour after going through his challenge, because they see what it works.
For you, for Nausheen, and for John as well, all three of you, there is no way to just pick their brain. It's all by going through some paid programs. So I definitely think this is a steal of a deal. And it's for a good cause. So we would love to see you guys show up, whether you're here on the live stream or you come to listen to the replay. Please share this with your friends. Let people know about this. Even Denmark. Yay, Denmark. My friend Robin is in Denmark. Love hearing about that. But definitely the value that you're going to get. And I want to do more of these events, and I want to participate in more of these events. Like, to end this the right way, we should say that, not everything has to be about just profits. You can actually use your authority and your audience to raise money for good causes, put visibility onto people who need help. There's definitely so much value to gain. So we definitely need to spread the word. And here's one thing about this event. Wherever you are in the world, like here I see USA, I see Denmark, I see Australia, wherever you are in the world, this is a lifetime replay. So we're not going to, and by the way, this is an exception, because usually, just so you guys know, when I do challenges, usually only my VIPers get the replays. So I'm like, here, you can have a drop-in ticket or you can have the lifetime access. And so I usually charge more, but because this isn't for profits, this is for a donation, we're not going to do that. So when you guys register and you can't attend for 3 days because you have some other things to do, we would love to have you, by the way, though, because I think there's nothing that replaces live attendance. It's always fun.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get 3 trainings from top coaches for $33 with lifetime access. So I don't know if it can get any better, can it, Chris?
I'll tell you, I know what I'm gonna share in your event, like just that alone. And I don't know what the other speakers are doing. So I mean, I know who John is and what he teaches, so I know the value there. But I know what I'm about to share in your event. Like that alone, people are gonna be like, wow, I never looked at a virtual event that way. I guarantee it. And I'm gonna show a little hints on how to design one, right? So I'm gonna give some value there to give you thinking. So take the time to go right here. You see right there, boop, boop, boop. QR code that bad boy, takes you right to the page, and you're all set up. So Krista, 30 minutes with you goes by like that.
Well, it has to be a 3-3. So I think we have to stay on 3
more.
We're
going to stay on for another 3 minutes. What do we
3 minutes so that we end at
and then it's all the threes. But in all seriousness, I mean, this has been great. I love this conversation. I know you'll cover it a little bit more next week. I know originally, I think it was Robert Siegel that you tagged him in the post about MS and all that. So, for you to actually put somebody out there that we all know on LinkedIn that deals with MS and just say, hey, Robert, you came to mind for this. I mean, that means a lot, right? That shows that you think of people first. I'm
so happy to hear that, because the worst thing is there's so many people out there that are struggling and suffering. And this month is mental health awareness month.
Yeah.
So talk about business growth for good. Again, let's be the good force. We don't have to be ruthless money hunters. There's plenty of money to go around. And the truth is that if you're doing good in the world, that's sometimes more valuable than the money. It really is.
If you look at what a challenge essentially is, this is what people don't understand. It's a taste and see process, right? If you go into a grocery store and you taste the food they have out, this is good, don't like that, right? But you get that opportunity to taste and see. And the person doing it, now we have 3 people doing this besides Krista, they're serving first. It's one of the most powerful models you can have out there because they serve first. And I can tell you, every client that I work with, there's one rule Chris has. If they come to me and say, hey, I need to go land $100,000 on this next challenge, I'm like, you're not the right client, because it's a servant mentality in order for this to work. And I've worked with Krista enough. That's her mentality. I serve first. Everything else works out. Zig Ziglar said it the best. It can get everything you want in life if you help as many others get what they want. And that's what we're going to do next week. Help you all with that.
That's
So
the best ending.
We did it. We did it.
Well, that was the best ending. Your quote, what you ended with, I think that's the what more can I say? Mic drop. And thank you, Chris, for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
I will see you next week, and we will definitely blow people away, because I know you really know how to deliver. So I can't wait to have you next week. And I would say anyone listening, please support us however you can. So if you can come, if you can register, if you can share this post, let other people know. If you have people who are trying to grow their personal brands and businesses, tell them they're going to learn how to launch virtual events. They're going to learn how to improve their LinkedIn game, and they're going to learn how to speak better on camera and in public. What more can you ask for? You know, so I think there's so much value we're going to give. And now we're 33 minutes, so we're going to end this. But I really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you, and I will see you next week. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you all who joined live today. And if you're watching this on replay, just make sure you let us know where you came in from replay. Stay on with me, Chris. I'm going to end this. Bye, all.